All right, joining us now, guy whose name you may have heard once or twice in recent weeks, relevant to the upcoming proceedings in Kansas City next Thursday. Heisman Trophy winner and former Alabama quarterback Bryce Young. Bryce, welcome. How are you, pal?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Thank you so much for having me on.
Hey, where do you keep that Heisman Trophy?
My parents have it. It's at their place, so that's all them.
Do you have you ever had a period of time where you just sit there and just like stare at it? I wouldn't leave the room. I'd be like, I can't believe I won this thing. I've heard about this thing my whole life and I won it, and here it is, and they can never take it away from me.
Not really, to be honest with you. Don't get me wrong. I'm super grateful to have won the award. It's a huge honor, a huge prestige. It's something I don't take lightly. Um, but I understand that it's something that I did in the past. It doesn't entitle me to anything in the future. I'm not. It doesn't even, it doesn't talk about anything that I'm gonna do or doing now. It's all about what happened in a past year, and I'm grateful for that. And maybe I'll have more of a appreciation for it when I'm older and able to look back on it. But for now, honestly, I'm focused on improving myself. Moving forward to seeing how I can get better in everything that I do. And staring at an old award doesn't really help me do that. But I am extremely grateful for it, so I don't want to get that mistaken.
I like the attitude though. Goal oriented. Forget about what we've already done. We got more work to do. Let's get back to work. That seems to be the attitude you're carrying into the NFL.
Yeah, that's definitely something I pride myself in. Again, I'm blessed to have accomplished things and done things in my football career. And I'm super grateful for all the people that have played a role in that. But again, for me, I try to focus on what I can control and moving forward. Again, that doesn't entitle me to anything, and especially at this next level. What you've done in college, that doesn't mean anything about how you're going to perform in the NFL. Everyone who is in the NFL was either great in college or now they're better than the people that were great in college. So it doesn't mean anything to them. Whatever I've done, at the college level. So I have to do everything I can to earn my respect. To do everything of my peers and in the locker room and do everything I can to try to set myself up for success at the next level. And I'm excited for that challenge.
Bryce, we're having this conversation exactly 1 week before the draft. What is your overriding emotion as you are 7 days away from finding out what's next for you?
Yeah, I'm super, I'm super blessed to be in this, and you definitely get a little anxious. Your life's going to change. You don't know where you're going to be living, what's going to be going on. What team it is you're going to be playing for, and for so long, it's coming, but it's kind of far out. But now with it being right around the corner, I'm definitely anxious for that day to come and to see what it's going to be. But more so than anything, I'm grateful and I'm blessed to be in this situation, and I'm trying to enjoy it and be in the moment. But I'm definitely a little anxious and excited to see what the future holds for me.
I always love talking to the guys who played for Nick Saban in Alabama. He grew up about 20 miles up the road from where I'm sitting right now here in West Virginia. You were originally going to go to USC. What was the pitch from Saban that closed the deal to get you to go to Alabama?
Yeah, really it was just Coach Saban being able to lay out the opportunity that I had at Alabama, and him just being able to communicate all that he brings, that the university brings. Being able to be coached by him, and with seeing it come into fruition with how much I've learned over my years there, and being able to play against the best, practice against the best every day in practice, and really have that opportunity. Coach Saban, one thing that really stood out about him during recruiting was that he was honest. A lot of times in recruiting, it's a race of telling people what they want to hear and how well you can paint this picture and sell this dream. But Coach Saban was extremely honest with everything. He told me that there's nothing that was promised. That he wasn't into promising anything to anybody, but he was going to give people opportunity to work and to be their best, and he was going to play the best people on the field. and on the team. And it was on us to prove that to him and to earn that from him and our position coaches. But he never promised me anything, as he never promises anyone that. And so much in recruiting, you hear all these promises that all these empty promises, and so much that just sounds good. But Coach Saban was honest. He told me exactly how everything would what had happened, and that he was going to give me an opportunity, and that he wasn't going to promise me anything. And having that transparency for me, really instilled that trust that I only developed while I was there.
Bryce, when was the first moment for you where you realized, based on whatever it was, throwing the ball in a game, in a practice, anywhere, where you thought, you know what, I'm pretty good at this and I may have a real future?
That's a good question. I can't really think to a specific time. I don't think I've ever felt, I've always believed in myself, and, I've always just wanted to, the next day be better, and wanted to push myself to be the best version of myself. But I don't think I ever really had a moment where I felt any higher or lower than that. I think, even in the bad days, I still wanted to push myself and see where I could be, and just get better the next day. And even in the good days where things were going really well, I never felt like, oh, I got it, or like I'm there, I have it figured out. Even then, I felt like, okay, well, even if this was positive, I still have to do a lot more to improve. I still want to get better. So I don't necessarily think I had that moment of like, oh yeah, I'm going to be good, or this is going to be my future. I think it was just day by day. I realized how much I love this sport and how much I love the game. And, because of that, I think that's really what has pushed me to want to keep being better, and keep developing day in and day out.
Okay, so I'm at the point in the interview where I start checking boxes. And of course, when we talk to Bryce Young, the box we have to check is the height question. But I'm going to try to ask you a different question, because it is what it is. I've heard you explain that, and you're right. You've played that way your whole life. So I'm curious about, and I know Drew Brees, and he's explained how he's managed in the pocket to see through and around these giant offensive linemen and defensive linemen who are big no matter how tall you are at quarterback. What do you do when you're back there to manage to see the guys down the field when you have this cluster of bodies in front of you?
Yeah, I think it's a lot about anticipation, knowing where your guys are going to be, and then knowing where the defense, would have to be based off of the coverages that they're running. So I think that, and kind of tribute to what Drew Brees said, who is someone that I've had the honor of meeting, and I've always been a huge fan of his game and what he's been able to do. Tribute to that, it's kind of trying to find throwing lanes, and seeing in between, and again, even when you can't see, it's knowing where people are going to be at based off of understanding the concept, understanding the defense you're getting, and knowing, what you have to account for and who you have to account for based off where you're trying to throw. So I think a lot of it, for me, is, all that coming into play is kind of, how I process things, whether it's a clean pocket, or, there's a bunch of people, getting pushed back into my face.
The other side of this, too, and this is the last question I'm going to ask about height and weight, but Tua Tagovailoa, former Alabama quarterback, now with the Dolphins, just yesterday was speaking about the things he's doing to try to better learn how to fall, because you're going to get hit by large guys. You got to fall in a way so your helmet doesn't strike the turf, and he's learning that. What plan do you have to avoid those kinds of issues we've seen with Tua? And have you talked to him about how to avoid striking your helmet against the ground when one of these 275-pound guys pushes you down?
I haven't necessarily had that conversation with them. But I think one thing just in general I can get better at for sure is just learning how to like baseball slide. Because full transparency, I don't like know how to cleanly, efficiently do that. Like I always kind of just got down. I knew eventually it was gonna come a day where I never really played baseball, so I knew eventually it was gonna be a day where I need to learn how to baseball slide. So, I think that I think now is a great time to attack that. So I think that's something I'm definitely going to learn how to do.
You know, everyone believes you're going to be the first overall pick with the Carolina Panthers, and they've said they haven't told you, and I'm not going to pry there. I'm just curious how much attention you've paid to all the chatter over the past several weeks, the betting markets, you were the favorite. Then it was C.J. Stroud after the Panthers traded up. Then it was you again. How much do you watch and listen to the chatter out there about who the first pick is going to be?
Yeah, not really at all. I'm really big on controlling what I can control and focusing on that. So, how people think things are going to play out and, even where things do play out, where I get picked, where I get drafted, that's out of my control. I want to do everything I can to present myself in the best light to all the teams that, I'm grateful for that choose to take their time out of their busy schedules to talk to me. And, I wanted to also focus on being the best version of myself, so whatever team it is that takes that chance, I'm able to give my all and be in the best shape and best situation I am, to do that. So what's people's opinions are of all the things that changes and all these different ups and downs. Again, I'm that's not really something I pay attention to. I look at, I keep up with, because regardless of what people think or what the expectations are, I only can control what I can control. So I kind of put all my energy into that.
And you've taken time out of your busy schedule to accommodate me today, and I appreciate that. Before I let you go, though, I got to ask you what you have going on with Courtyard by Marriott. They're the ones that made you available to us today. Tell us what you have happening there.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here with Courtyard by Marriott, the official hotel of the NFL. And really, we're here to showcase the Courtyard VIP fan zone, which is going to be inside the NFL Draft Inner Circle this upcoming draft. And we're going to be giving away 32 tickets next Wednesday at the Courtyard in Kansas City downtown at 4 p.m. So, I would love for fans to come out and check it out. My guy Will's going to be there actually handing those tickets out, and it's a really special day for me, and really is huge for myself and everyone in the draft class. And I'm super excited to be able to experience that and share that experience with the fans that do come out. So hopefully if you are able to win one of those tickets, you'll be able to see myself, see everyone who does get picked, get drafted, and share that experience with us.
Hey, last one for you before I let you go. We talked earlier about you were going to go to USC. You ended up at Alabama. How much of you would like right now to be able to choose where you go next and not have someone else choose you?
It definitely is a very different experience from recruiting. The power dynamics definitely shift. But I think there's some simplicity in that, and letting God, kind of guide that decision. It's out of my hands. I don't know who's going to pick me. You never get to understand that, and it's cool to try to be in control, and you get to experience that when you're choosing a college. But I think there's beauty in sitting back and again focusing on what I can control, and the major big picture stuff that being out of my hands. And wherever I end up, I feel like it'll be where God wants me to be. So I'm grateful for that.
Well, chances are he's going to be holding a blue jersey next Thursday night in Kansas City, but we'll have to wait and see what the official word is. Bryce, thanks so much for some of your time. Congratulations on your success, and all the best next week in Kansas City.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.